And once again, hello, hello, hello to the greatest day has ever been. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that you are Lord of the harvest. Today is August 2nd, 2023. This is recording 556, entitled Lord of the Harvest. The title should be self-explanatory. Lord. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest is truly great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great. Now, just for a second, think about that lottery out there. I think it was 1.05 billion. The harvest truly is great. Now, do you realize that there's somebody out there that wants every bit of that? They don't want to share any of it with anybody, knowing that you could probably, 20, 30 people might get $20, $50 million a piece or whatever the thing may be. But somebody out there wants all of it. Why? Because the Lord, that which is over the harvest, is the greatest beneficiary of the harvest. In today's work vernacular, someone may be able to say, we worked on that project for 6 months, and I was able to make double, triple my salary for the year. I worked overtime. I worked all kinds of shifts. I did all kinds of things, and it was very fruitful. And my family, we got a lot. But guess who got the most and was only sitting back watching everyone work? The Lord of the harvest, the one who owns the field, the one who owns the plants, the one who owns the crops and the fruitage. That is the one that benefits most. Jesus said, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Now, I hope you listen to the revelation that comes beneath or above my speech as you're listening, because he is entertaining or intimating something that goes, I believe, unnoticed. Because when we are invited to go into the harvest, we truly believe that we are going into something to harvest something to present to someone and receive a reward. That's what we were taught. But he says, as an enticement, the harvest is truly great. What is he saying? He's saying he has looked out over God's creation and seen all of the billions of people, trillions of people, maybe it just goes on and on and on. That's the harvest. And he says they're going unharvested. And the harvest needs laborers. And he's asking us to pray that God would send laborers. Now, that also causes us to see that if I am praying that a laborer be sent, then I must have already agreed to go myself. For why would I send somebody where I'm not willing to go? So he's saying pray that laborers would be sent forth. And herein is where today's offering starts to take shape. Because many people will pledge to go. Those of you who have read the Holy Scriptures, you'll notice that there's a story in there. And I know Carmen is familiar with this story. It says that one came and he asked his servant to go. And he said, yes, I'll go. But he didn't go. He came to the other and asked him to go, and he said, no, I don't think so. But after a while, he gave it some thought and said, okay, I'll go. So that's what I'm talking about. It says many pledge to go, but they find it difficult to maintain a quality commitment. And we know that the second person obviously had a better commitment than the first, who quickly answered and said, yes, I'll go. Now, there are various reasons as to why people are reluctant to go, such as in the Bible. One says, well, let me go take care of my father. One says, let me harvest the field. One says, let me do this, let me do that. But I'm reminded of the story where Elijah and Elisha are coming together, and Elijah makes one of those statements like, I'll be on, and Elijah basically says, I don't care whether you come or not. But he did care. Why? Because the commitment. He saw the commitment in Elisha's heart before Elisha did. For whatever reason that people decide that they are reluctant to go or can't go or I'll come later or whatever the case, I don't think they actually really realize what's being asked of them. There have been many associations, organizations that have been built and raised up to carry on what we call in today's religious circles, harvesting souls. And if you've had the experience that I had, many of those organizations actually believe that they are going into the world and harvesting souls to present to God so that they may receive their reward, and that they may receive this reward hopefully be a little bit better than the person beside me. Sort of like a competition. But the race is not given to the swift or the fastest. The race is given to the one who ends the race. So that means whoever ends the race wins. So these organizations have been raised up as proof of commitments. But as we look or delve into them, we find that their substance is not there. That which is able to harvest these souls and present them, as Paul said, spotless and without fault, that substance is not there. Why? Because they have not attained the understanding of the rules that must be followed in the harvesting. To harvest anything, you just don't go out there and start picking, because at some point in time, someone may say, well, did you get that row over there? Yeah, I got it, but they didn't, because they thought they were talking about this row or that row. And the bottom line is there's a lot of fruitage, a lot of crops that go unharvested. But when the rules are laid out clearly and everyone understands the rules to the point of expressing them correctly, then the harvest will be concluded and there'll be very, very few fruitage left in the field. Many associations have been built on the memorization of truth principles. I'm going to say that again. Many are built on memorization. Yes, the truth that they are memorizing, yes, it's true. Yes, it's been proven by those that have gone before, but it's to the person who is now engaging, it is just a memorization of the truth. They know it to be true, but there is no the substance to substantiate them in the harvest. It must be digested, and it must be understood, and there must be a change of consciousness. As Paul put it, he says, being renewed in your mind. And he goes on to tell us that we already have the mind of Christ, or the enlightened mind. We already have it. But because it is only memorized, it was something so crazy that a lady said to me a couple of days, and all I could do is look at her and just laugh. She said, did you know, and the thing about it is she's one of them. She said, did you know that COVID, when it hit in 2020, that gave many people freedom to leave the church? And I looked at her and I went, yeah, running scared. The one person, the one entity, the one intelligence, however you want to define God, that we're supposed to be hanging in there and believing that's going to take care of us, COVID ran them right out of the church. So what are they saying? There was no substance there in the first place, and now I have a reason to leave. In other words, many people are memorizing principles of truth, singing the songs, and putting up their rhetoric, their conversation against anybody that they know Scripture just as well as the next person. But when the pressures of everyday life come, that substance is not there. This is what Jesus is saying. Pray that the Father would send laborers, those who understand, those who fully understand the rules of the harvest. Send them. I hope your mind is beginning now to just kind of stretch out and go, well, wait a minute. If I truly understand, that means I cannot move left nor right of this process. I must hold this process dear within my heart. I must hold it there as the sacred truth, and I must stand under it or on it and allow it to do a harvesting. Many people have tried to live by the world's standards. And what they've done is stood in the way of the true seeker. Like the scriptures say, you whited sepulchres, as Jesus spoke to the religious leaders of the day. He says, you won't go into the kingdom, and you stand in the doorway, keeping or limiting the true seeker from entering. Little do some perceive the enormity of the invitation to pray that laborers be sent into such a great harvest. I'll say that again. Little do some perceive the enormous meaning of this invitation to pray, by thinking that they will be rewarded for their harvest of souls. They rush to serve, not realizing that the true reward is the learning of how important and loved they are to the Lord of the harvest. They don't realize that by engaging in the understanding of the rules of the harvest, it is being shown to their heart just how important they are to the Lord of a harvest. Now, just for a minute, let's just chase a rabbit. That let's go harvest this field. But people don't always understand that there may be wild animals hiding in the field. There may be snakes in the field. There could be some poisonous entity. There may be ticks. There may be ants. There may be something that can take this person's or put this life in jeopardy. But we automatically think Let's go into the harvest. Let's reap some souls and bring them back to God so I can get my reward. Not realizing that before one can perform any task, he or she must develop a degree of mastery of or over the subject matter. It's called understanding. I will do this when this happens. I will do that when that happens. As with Moses standing at the Red Sea, the Spirit of the Lord said, this is no time for praying, Moses. What is that in your hand? Stretch forth your rod. And upon hearing that, Moses was given the correct words to say. He didn't make it up. He says, these Egyptians that you see, you shall see them no more. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. What was he saying right there? That he had learned the process. He understood that where God is, I am. And he stood on that understanding, and I guarantee you, he did not think that he was going to open that Red Sea. He had no idea how Spirit was going to come and resolve that situation, but one thing he did know, he knew that it would. Herein, I'm going to mention that phrase, and we'll be harping on it for a while now. What is it? Realization is demonstration. The moment you understand anything, it is immediately demonstrated right then. This key does not fit that lock. Realization, demonstration. The moment this door opens this way, not that way, the moment you have realization, how many times have you been driving your car, if you're a driver, and drive down the road and you keep hitting that pothole in the same curve? Well, one day, realization comes, and what happens? This is the curve with the pothole in it, and you make the adjustment. Realization, it becomes clear in your consciousness. And when it becomes clear in your consciousness, the appropriate demonstration automatically expresses itself. When you do not understand, you are liable to fall into any type of chaotic, disgusting, or repulsive, or negative situation. But when you understand, no longer will that thing demonstrate in negativity, because you already know the end. The invited one, the one who is invited to go into the harvest, get this, must understand all aspects of the process that they may successfully express the expressed desire of the Lord. The invited one must understand all aspects. That's heaven, y'all. When there are no questions, that's heaven. When you understand everything, that's heaven. When you understand everything about, that's heaven. So when you understand the process, I think it was last week somewhere in our country, I think it was in Ohio, I'm not sure, but there was a power outage, and they sent this crew in, and one of the men was up on the pole, and he was killed. Why? Because there was not a full understanding of the flow of power that was coming down that section where he was working. When I first started my job some 30-some years ago, there was a man. He's now, he's passed on now, but for a long time he was a millionaire. Why? because he went into a situation of electricity and he did not understand fully the flow, and both his hands were blown off, and he received compensation. Now, do you really believe that he was compensated $1 million, that replaced his hands? Do you think that he had the choice over, would he have wanted to understand, is this power shut off? Has it been disabled? You see, the Lord is the invisible one. He's the one that sits back and gives the rules of engagement. But the laborer is the one who must understand these rules and must go into the harvest as the expresser of the intent of the desire of the Lord. In other words, they must become the express image. Please listen. They must take on this identity. And you don't take it on because you say, I'll take it on. You take it on because your understanding takes you to this realization. They must become the expressed image, likeness, executioner of the invisible desire. In the book of, I think it's 3 John, I'm not sure, but it says, my desire is that you have life. No, this is Jesus, I think, over in John. My desire is that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. Well, when the understanding of this abundant life comes into your consciousness, you can't help but demonstrate what is necessary. What are the fruitage? What are all the different fruits that come from this realization? Remember, realization births immediate demonstration. It's not something that comes in time. It may show up in time because you keep wondering whether or not it's going to happen or not. But the bottom line is realization makes it mine. They must become converted to the point that what is seen and heard is the Lord of harvest himself. What I just said right there is when you go into the harvest, that person that you think you are harvesting must see the Lord of the harvest. They must see what's beyond you to them. They must be able to see the Lord of the harvest, but you are the representative. So therefore, here comes that statement that Jesus made when he said, when you see me, you see him that sent me. Why? Because I am only executing that which sent me here. And I will not deviate left nor right, up or down. I will not make any deviation, but I have totally submitted myself as a servant. One must come into an absolute convincing of themselves that they are the visible representation of that which sent them. I'm going to say that again. You must allow yourself to become that which you understand. That does not mean that you go out telling people, I am the Lord of the harvest. I am God incarnate. And when you see me, you see him that sent me. Although, as your mastery of the understanding increases by degree, it is very, very understandable that those types of words will come out of your mouth. But at that particular point in time, you are willing to stand under what you say. Why? Because realization does what? It breeds demonstration immediately. There can be no hedging. You must speak the truth that you know. That doesn't mean you go out looking for places. but you must speak the truth that you know. Through much trial, through many trials and tribulations, one entertains until confidence rests in their conscience. Subsequently, in their language. You are now speaking the language of the Spirit. For one to enter into the Spirit and then turn away, I say for this one, he cannot be helped because he tries to entertain two worlds. But to the one who entertains and the language of the Spirit becomes his language, this man shall be fulfilled and shall prosper in all that he does. Without hesitation, these people speak from the revelations gathered during the process of their transformation. They will build confidence, a bold confidence, and will, with perfection, they will walk in a direction that the world will have to recognize. What is this? Healing the sick, raising the dead, open the blinded eye. They will set at liberty those that come to them that are forlorn for the consciousness that they are. Remember now, they're representing the totality and the fulfillment of the invisible one. It is now resting within the temple which they are, and their confidence their confidence has raised to such a point to where they will speak. They will speak and not wonder whether that word will come to pass, because now they are only speaking, hearing, and doing what they have seen, heard, and felt from the Holy One. They are now declaring the day of the Lord. The scriptures say where there is no open invitation to people, where there is no open revelation, the people perish. Where there is no open vision, the people perish. For many years I wondered, what does that mean? Where God is not understood to be the presence of all things everywhere, just awaiting recognition, the people stumble in darkness. They stumble in ignorance. But where there is an open revealing of the presence of God, then the revelation flows, and this person shall not be subject to anything that would cause demise in their lives. With open understanding, do we realize that they truly have been made the desired expectation of the Father? You have become the Lord of the harvest. God bless. Now let's have a meditation. I am here. I am there. I am everywhere. There is no place where my presence is not seen or heard. There is no place where I am not that which is. The only that is. The understanding of this truth is the release of bondage from all that comes in contact with me. I need not look through these physical eyes to see if I'm having an effect, for I look through the eyes of the Lord of the harvest. I look through the feeling, the understanding of the Lord of the harvest. I know now that I and the Lord are one. Why? Because when I prayed to enter the harvest, I became the servant, and I went in to serve. And becoming a servant, the Father has given to me all that he is. And by giving to me all that he has, I serve. They may call me master, but I realize there is only one master, and I am he. I truly, truly am the son of my Father's love. I am that I am, the Lord of all.